Hello, welcome to Spread Bookjoy. Today I want to talk to you about some of my favourite non-fiction books on books. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jack. If you're not new, welcome back to Spread Bookjoy. And this is a video I've been meaning to do for a while because I've got these beautiful books all about books or reading, to be honest with you. It's not books, just books, but books and reading. And they're big books with beautiful illustrations and design, and I just wanted to feature them on the channel for some time. I've been meaning to do a whole sort of video around books on books, but I just picked these up the other day, and I was thinking about a video I watched which was from Elizabeth at Bookhans and Books, and she was recommending books to read when you don't know what to read, when you're too stressed to read, or when you can't just get into anything. And she mentioned books that you can dip in and out of, and I've got a number of books that I dip in and out of when I'm not in the mood to read my sort of more challenging books, or I'm just not in the mood for a novel. So these are some of them, and I'm just going to share them with you now. So first up, I'm going to share the smallest one to start with, and that is Literary Wonderlands, A Journey Through the Greatest Fictional Worlds Ever Created. It's by Laura Miller, who's, well, the general editor, but they're all articles all around some of the most famous fictional worlds, and it's just gorgeously designed and illustrated. So it's handily split into sections. We've got ancient myth and legend, science and romanticism, and the golden age of fantasy, new world order, so sort of more early 20th century, late 19th century, earlier 20th century worlds, and then the computer age, so modern day worlds. And we've got some of my absolute favourites, of course. The Discworld series is in here, Game of Thrones, His Dark Materials, Lois Lowry's The Giver, so some dystopian, some Kazuo Ishiguro, and yeah, we've got lots of amazing literary worlds in here. Oh, by the way, I've always got inky fingers from my fountain pens, so that's what that green thing is, if anyone's wondering. But if you look to each spread, you've got a breakdown of the stories or the worlds, how it came about, and sort of the influences and inspirations behind each of them. You've got amazing pictures and artwork throughout the book, and yeah, it's just an absolutely stunning book. And if you're into fantasy or science fiction, I'd highly recommend getting it. It's just wonderful. Next is A Velocity of Being, Letters to a Young Reader. Really special book that I'm working my way through, and I read, you know, a letter every now and again, and I've got quite far with it. This is a collection of letters which were commissioned and edited by Maria Popova and Claudia Bedrick. I heard about it because Maria Popova does a weekly email newsletter which is now called The Marginalian. It's a really fascinating newsletter, her thoughts on literature and the arts. It's really interesting, and she commissioned lots of famous people to do letters to young readers about books and reading, so of course I had to get it. You can see each letter is beautifully illustrated by an artist. Each artist is listed alongside the writer of the letter as well at the front, and it's just a stunning book, and it's one of those things that you can just dip in and out of. And as someone who loves books and reading about these really influential and amazing people and how what books have meant to them and what advice they would give to a young reader, it's just very inspiring, it's very heartwarming, it's quite emotional read, and yeah, I absolutely adore this book. I saved this one for last, but it's certainly not least. I love this. If you are someone like me who loves a map in a book, this is just stunning. I keep saying the word stunning, but I don't know how else to say it. It's a really beautifully produced book. It's the Writer's Map, Atlas of Imaginary Lands. I saw it in a Waterstones and I just had to buy it. I don't often just grab big, quite expensive hardbacks without like some consideration usually, but this, I just saw it and couldn't resist it. So inside we've got lots and lots of essays in this amazing book, and it's fully illustrated, and it's all about make-believe worlds. So inside we've got a collection of essays and thoughts by people either on worlds they've created or worlds that have been an inspiration to them. So we've got people like Lev Grossman, Sandy Toksvig, Abby Elphinstone, who I absolutely love, a children's writer, Kieran Millward Hargrave, Joanne Harris, Robert McFarlane. I mean, it's a real treasury of amazing people's thoughts on literary made up worlds and maps and what they mean to them. So I'm just going to flick through so you can see some of the amazing artwork and illustrations that's included in this book. It's just beautiful, and the essays are thoughtful and thought-provoking. One of my favourite is this by Daniel Reeve, a Middle-earth map maker, and this is the story of a guy called Daniel Reeve who created lots and lots of the maps for the film Peter Jackson's trilogy, Lord of the Rings. He started off his career back when he was a teenager and loved the maps and the lettering. He was really drawn to them, and he started making them, and then became an artist. And he then heard that the Lord of the Rings films were going to be made in New Zealand, which is where he's from, and he sent a sample of his Elvish script to the company, and the rest is history. He talks about the process, he talks about all of the work that was involved in creating those maps, which is amazing. Likewise, I love this article by Miraphora Mina, who created the Marauders. She talks about creating the Marauders map and creating maps and other things for. They created all of the sort of graphics for the Harry Potter films, but creating the Marauders map. This is a really special book, and if you, like me, get the thrill when you open a book and you see a map inside it, this is just absolutely delightful to read. I'd urge you to get this book if you love maps and what books that have maps or creative worlds, and just to see the process that's gone through to not just create the maps, but how the maps feed the story. Abby Elphinstone, who I just mentioned, she is a children's writer and often talks to the children about the fact that she starts all of her stories by drawing a map. That's how she starts planning her stories, which is really inspiring, and the children love hearing that. And what child doesn't love to create a map of an imaginary world? This is possibly my favourite big non-fiction book on books. I'm going to try and do a little bit more on some of the books that I've got on writing and other books that I might have on books if I can find any of them, because as you know, at the moment I've got a lot of my books stacked away in cupboards, but these are just some that I've kept out because they're just too beautiful to put away. I hope you enjoyed them. If anyone has got any more suggestions on beautiful big non-fiction books on books, I'd love to hear about it. And hopefully, if you like this, please click like, leave a comment, maybe consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you again here soon. Bye.